Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, we're not really going to go into so much details, but in this video I'm going to share with you how we've lost £100,000 in auction, right? And the solicitors were absolutely useless as well. So again, I'm sharing this video so that you can learn from our mistakes to ensure you don't make the same mistake. Okay, saying so, it's not my physical mistake, but it's someone that I work very closely who involved in this sort of thing. But again, this is just for you to learn to ensure you don't make the same mistake. That's £100,000 a mistake that has cost us drastically and has put that person into a difficult financial situation. I will try to explain it to you to ensure that you do not make the same mistake, because obviously we learn and improve and move on. So basically, a few months ago, one of a very good friend of mine saw a property in auction. It's a nice property, absolutely amazing, two bedroom house and terrace house, and there was a scope to convert it into 3 or 4 bedroom. Saw the property, liked it, and then obviously viewed the property and realized that property for him. He did all the figures. The figures were all absolutely amazing, right? So all the figures were good. So obviously he registered himself for the auction. Okay, so he rang me, said he's registered for the auction, if I can join him online to help him bid for the property, right? So obviously I joined him online. We bid for the property. We were able to buy the property. We won the bid at 99,000, I think, or £100,000. So we've closed that deal, right? So we closed the deal. Obviously, we send the information to the solicitors representing the client, and then obviously we exchange, because when you buy properties in auction, you exchange when the hammer goes down. That means the property is you're legally obliged to actually complete the deal in that property. So basically that went well. So everything went really well at that point. Okay, again, if you like this video or any of my videos, don't forget to hit the like button below, subscribe to my channel for more of these amazing tutorials. So again, so everything went well during that time. So but during the actual exchange, he provided all the details about the buyer. So what he did in the outset was he included his wife into the purchase, right? He told the auctioneers, we're buying this property as husband and wife, okay? So once they've done that, obviously they did the exchange, they put his wife and his name on the contract. So everything went well, everything was fine. So he then rang me and explained some situation to me, and then he said he wants the property to be on his name. I said, okay, if you've done exchange, sometimes they would have passed that details to your solicitors. So what you could do, basically, contact the auctioneers, right, immediately. So he won the auction tonight, and then we had a discussion the next day. Told him to actually contact the auctioneers to tell them about the changes. Okay, so what he did, basically, he drafted the email that he wants the purchaser name to be on his name, right? And again, he then left it that way, and then he thought he's pressed send to the auctioneers. Okay, he thought he sent that email to the auctioneers and his solicitors to inform them that he's buying this himself, not as a couple. So what then happened, basically, he forgot to press the send button. So he just assumed they've received the information, right? He assumed they have received the information and everything was fine. And we haven't had any correspondence from the solicitors, obviously, explaining that they whether to confirm whether he's buying it as a couple or he's buying it alone, because obviously just assume they've received the email and then everything is fine. So to cut long story short, so basically he assumed everything is fine, and then we go through the finance, right, on his own name or company name, right? We did all that, helped him get the finances. The finances were ready, and the bank was about to release the funds. So before the lender released the funds, they needed the solicitor to actually answer some questions. You're talking about 28 days window here, right? And again, he didn't do anything about anything until, you know, like how solicitors are, until the 5 days before we complete. So the solicitor got the bridging loans questionnaire, then they realize that they've only got one name there, and then he then draws that attention to the seller, to the buyer. In this case, the buyer looked at it and said, no, I sent an email to inform you both, know, the auctioneer and you, my solicitor, know that I'm buying the property myself, not with my partner included. Then the solicitor said, no, we haven't received any information confirming that or advising us that. We rang the auctioneers. The auctioneers also told us the same thing. So again, we've got the loan approved. The loan was about to be transferred, but because there are two names on the title deed and one name approved for the lending, obviously the solicitor was not able to take the loan and use it for that purpose because it's not for the same people, right? So again, what we did basically then, so that then brings a massive trouble to us because we've already put down 10% of the actual purchase price, right? £100,000 for the property, so we put down 10%, that's about £10,000. And that £10,000 was on the line, basically. So if we haven't completed that deal, basically we've lost the £10,000, we've lost our solicitor fees because we have to pay the solicitors to actually get this done. Basically, it was a trouble. So he rang me, he told me about this situation. I did my best to ring the lenders because I'm directly to those lenders. I know the director. Rang him. I said, listen, is there a way can we add the partner on that loan? The reason why we did that, basically, we said, is because we are not able to actually change it from the seller perspective. So obviously, I spoke to the director. He was literally happy to actually do this. He said, send me the details. We emailed him the details. We actioned it straight away, and then obviously they add the couple into that thing. Okay, so basically, long story short, we were not able to complete the deal because the seller wasn't prepared to actually extend. Because what had happened within those 5 days, right? It happens to be over the weekend, and we were to complete, I think, Monday or Tuesday, and then obviously there was a delay in referencing or kind of vetting the new client. It takes them about 48 days. We rang the auctioneers, tell them, listen, we had the funds. So what we did first, basically, when we realized there was two names on the title deed, we rang the seller solicitors and asked them, is there a way that we could amend that? Okay, they said to us they would ask the seller if that is possible, right? We rang the seller. They rang the seller and told the seller said, listen, he can't change anything. The seller is the most inflexible person I've ever met in my life. He's so not business minded. He's literally just after the money. So the solicitor came back and told our solicitor, listen, it cannot be changed. And to make matters worse, the solicitor representing my friend is literally so negative, and she hasn't even got the energy to actually do the work. I told her, literally, I took the phone up, talking to the solicitor on behalf of my friend to tell her, listen, just be positive, try to do this thing. She's been complaining, saying how it's not going to be possible. Let's just let go of the deal, etc., etc. She was so negative, and she was reluctant even to do the job. I was so crushed, pissed off. A solicitor that meant to represent their client is being so negative. Okay, so that's where the difficulty is. She was reluctant even to communicate with the seller solicitors. I'm not sure whether she's experienced or not, but she was just negative. And we had to get the clients, my friends, to literally drove from where they were, Midlands, to South Wales, to speak to be with the solicitors to ensure if they have any questions, they're there and then to answer those questions. And again, we're able to drag that with our positivities and energy. We're able to push that solicitor until it becomes personal. Basically, we were able to actually change that name from the lender's perspective. So we've got two names there. And again, from the seller solicitor perspective, basically, they're just not flexible. They're not moving anywhere. We rang them. We said, listen, we've got the money. The money is ready, right? It's ready. We got the money. It's ready. Can we please, right, get to complete the deal at 5 or 10 in the morning the next day? Right, because the deadline in that actual legal pack, there's a deadline. There's a time deadline, specific time deadline. We had to complete the deal at 2 o'clock on a Friday, right? On a Friday at 2 o'clock, we had to complete the deal, right? We said to them, listen, we're able to complete the deal after pushing our solicitors at 5 o'clock because the lenders were happy with all the documentation. The seller's solicitor came back to us and said, unfortunately, the seller is not willing to move the deadline from 2 o'clock, right? We're talking about 9 o'clock in the morning here, okay? We tried contacting them that way. It did not work. We rang the auctioneer. We explained the situation to the auctioneer. We said, listen, we've got the money now. We've got this ready. Can the seller solicitor allow us to complete at 5 o'clock? If they can't do 5 o'clock, we're happy to do it first thing in the morning, okay? So again, rang those auctioneers, speak to the auctioneers. The auctioneers say, listen, it's beyond their control. We have to go through our legal team to communicate with the seller solicitor legal team, so to see find a way to resolve the issue. I rang them myself again, ring the auctioneer and say, listen, this person approached you directly to list the property. All I'm asking you basically, you don't have to do this. All I'm asking you basically, just to ring him or her, explain to them what the situation is, and see, as a human being, they've approached you, see if they can be flexible, right? If they can be flexible, it will be absolutely amazing for us because we got the money ready. We're just waiting for the money to be wired to our solicitors. So again, he went, told us he's going to ring the buyer, he ring the seller, and then obviously the seller was not literally nudging, he wasn't moving, he wasn't even answering the phone call. So then they told us actually they were not directly dealing with that property. So that property was listed on their platform through another agent. They gave me the agent name, we rang the agent, explained the situation to the agent, we asked the agent to kindly contact their seller and see if he's able to do anything for us to allow that deadline to go to 2 o'clock. And we're happy to pay any additional fees, right? And we already paid the £300 to our solicitor to say, if it needs to be paid, here's the £300 for the extra few hours to allow this deal to happen. And again, they rang the seller. The seller was reluctant to actually move that date. They rang us back. Well, we rang them back. They told us, listen, he said 2 o'clock is his deadline. If it's not complete, basically we've lost the £10,000. Not just the £10,000, we've lost the £100,000 property that we're able to negotiate, right? So again, we're about to lose that money. So, and again, I rang my solicitor. Our solicitors basically were just so negative as well. I've never seen a negative solicitor in my entire life. She keeps saying, oh, this is not going to happen. Don't worry about it. Don't bother stressing yourself. It's not going to happen. And even when we're trying to change the name, she's telling us we can't change the name from the lender's perspective. It's going to take another 2 weeks. And we were able to do that within 24 hours. And it will change. We said, listen, we just need that positivity from you representing us. Basically, it was, okay, I'll try nagging. And then obviously, we got the money now paid into the account. The actual bridging loan company wired the money to the solicitor's account. We rang the seller solicitor and told her, listen, we've got the money now. We've got the money, I think it's about 4 o'clock or so. Can we do the transfer? Can we do the completion? The seller solicitor say, no. The vendor, the seller, has already pulled out. He has rescinded the contract. Literally, my heart sank when I heard that because one, our solicitors was not cooperative. She was so negative. Secondly, the seller solicitors has just been so inflexible. My heart sank. I was really, really disappointed. And I looked at my friend. I can see how much he's worked hard for this property. He's been literally, basically, he drove from the Midlands all the way to his solicitors in South Wales, be there, answer all the questions, sign whatever documents he signed. He was literally drilled to get this deal. He tried always, and then only to be told the next day, basically, the seller solicitor has rescinded the contract, and basically they're not proceeding. You know, we have not just lost £10,000 that we've put down, which is physical cash. We've lost £100,000 property that we've secured significantly below market. If that property would have done, it would have worth about £180,000. And so basically we lost £100,000 in that deal. So it was really, really heartbreaking to lose the £10,000. And for the solicitor, our solicitors, to actually rack us with legal fees as well. So it was really, really painful. Not just painful, it was disheartening. Okay, so I had to speak to him, console him, and say, listen, we've done the mistake. It's a very, very hard lesson to learn. 10,000, 100,000 pounds property. Nobody wants to be in that situation. So therefore, I'm going to share with you what you could do in the future to stop things like this happening to your investment, because this could be an investment that will derail you for another 5-10 years, because £10,000 is a massive investment, right? It's a massive investment to lose. So obviously we had to we lost that money. So in this video I'm going to share with you what you could do to avoid being in such situation in the first place and to protect your investment. The number one thing you need to do, you need to read the legal pack properly, right? You know the selling condition, the seller condition. You have to read that properly, right? You have to look at all the print, the small print, because one, we did not know he had to complete on the 28th day at 2 o'clock, right? We did not know that. We did not know that it was stated on the contract that that date cannot be moved no matter what, right? And again, that is very important. Second thing you need to note there is the legal fees. Okay, with this property also, the seller solicitor legal fees was about £6,000. And again, I've never seen a legal fees that cost that much. I've never seen it in my entire life. When we had the completion statement, because we thought we were going to complete, he sent it to me. I look at the legal I look at the completion statement. He saw £6,000. He wasn't sure what that £6,000 was, right? I looked, I saw it. I wasn't sure. He said features and finish. Again, that is a mistake from his sellers, from the buyer seller solicitor, from my friend's solicitors. Basically, they even done the statement incorrectly. So I rang the solicitors. I said, listen, how can fixtures and furniture charge £6,000 where it's a dilapidated property? Then she went back and looked at the property. We looked at the document and realized that was for the seller solicitor fees. £6,000 for the seller solicitor's fees. Absolutely crazy, right? And then going down that selling condition, we also was going to pay the auctioneer, I think it was about £3,000. Ridiculously expensive. So again, look at the details. Look at the details of the selling condition. Look at the legal pack, okay? These are the things that it's in your profit, right? Solicitor's fees, £10,000. Auctioneer's fees, £3,000, right? You're talking about £9,000. That's not even part of the purchase, okay? And again, obviously, that deadline was there, and he didn't pick it up. And again, it was his first auction property. He didn't pick that up. That, again, was a massive blow. So make sure you read that document properly. If you don't understand anything, get a solicitor to read it for you and explain it for you. If you don't get it, if you've got a friend who is a paralegal, get them to read it, so you explain it to you if you don't understand. Or get your solicitor to actually read it for you before exchange. So again, that's one of the massive things you need to do first, okay? The second thing you also need to do, go and view the property, okay? View the property to ensure you know what you're dealing with, okay? And speak to the agent to find out whether that property is listed to them directly, right? If it's through an agent, get to know the agent on the first day, right? Why you need to know the agent? You can ring them, build relationship with them, build rapport with them, right? So should shit hit the fan, you've got someone to go to, okay? So again, we did not know that until the last minute that the auctioneer is not the real person who put that property online. They are like a platform. They are like a marketplace. All agents would put their properties in there for auction. Again, we only knew that last minute. Third thing you need to actually make sure you're 100% on, your details. Vitally important. Your details, vitally. If you're buying the property on the company name, make sure you put the company name from day one, right? If you're buying it under your name, make sure it is under your name, right? You're not going to change that once you've exchanged, okay? If you're buying it as a couple, make sure it is under a couple's names, okay? Because you don't want to buy a property only to find out you're not going to be able to pay for it, okay? So again, that's a key thing. And again, if you made a mistake, right? If you made a mistake, you want to put on your name or in a joint name, make sure you change that instantly, right? Don't do the mistake he did. He drafted the email, he forgot to press that send button. Make sure you press that send money button the hardest way you could possibly can. And once you've sent that information, make sure you send it. Once you've sent that email, follow that email up with a phone call to your solicitor, to the auctioneers. In this case, if they don't have an agent, to the agent, to make sure everybody has that change. If they have to charge you for the money, know the money that they're going to charge you instantly. Don't assume it's been received. Don't assume everybody is happy with it. Okay? Whatever changes you need to make, if the flexibility is there, make sure you get everybody involved, know the changes. Okay? And again, to avoid that, make sure you know the exact name or the company that is buying that property, because you're not going to change it. Some sellers are literally just there to do the same messing about, to be able to put the property online again, make more money out of the property. So again, that is a key thing. The details is absolutely key to be able to close the deal. The other thing you need to do also, correspondence. Okay, you have to be corresponding with these people. Just don't leave it to last minute. Okay. Every other day, contact your solicitor to find out progress about your property. You need to know where you are, where you're going, what they're doing with your property, to ensure that your money or your investment is protected. Okay, very, very important. Do not leave it to chance. Okay, if you have to contact the auctioneers every day, contact them every day. Your lenders, communicate. The correspondence is key. Okay, and again, most importantly, get a great solicitor. The solicitors are absolute shambles in this example. They literally did not help. She was negative. She was so I had to literally shout on the phone for my client, for my friend. I literally had to take the phone, literally shout on the solicitor to actually get that thing done, because she's got no common sense. She had no common sense. She was going directly by the book. We would have lost that deal a week before even completion. So I was able to push. We were able to actually get the funds, but because the two solicitors are ridiculously stringent, don't use common sense, we've lost the deal. So make sure you have a really great solicitor, flexible solicitor that you can call and talk to. Right? Don't get a massive organization, because if you get a massive organization, it's very hard to get hold of your solicitor. Okay? Get a good solicitor and be the pilot of your deal. Right? Make sure you are a pilot. You are like a pilot. You're in that cockpit. You need to make sure that plane lands safely by communicating with the solicitors, communicating with the lenders, communicating with the auctioneers, communicating with everybody involved, ensuring everybody's on the right track, right? If everybody's on the right track, then you can land your plane safely. You can land it safely. Don't leave it to chance. Don't leave it to everybody else. Your success is your duty, responsibility, and your obligation. So it's very, 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 very frustrating for silly thing like this that will cost you £100,000. So again, warning, and a massive warning here. Before you buy that property, make sure you are ready to actually buy that property. Do all your due diligence on the property. Make sure your investment is protected, and any clause in that deal, make sure you're aware about it. If you cannot change it, aware about it, so it can set you up nicely to protect yourself from a situation like this. And again, I really hope you've learned a lot here, and I really hope you won't make the same mistake. And I really, really hope before you buy any properties, you'll get someone to coach you, mentor you, hold your hands to ensure you don't make that £100,000 mistakes, because that £100,000 mistake can set you back in some instances for a lifetime. Okay? Do not actually buy a property without knowing what you're doing. Right? As you can see, the mistakes is more expensive than educating yourself. And again, whatever you do, make sure you're 100% on it. Confirm it from all people, everybody involved. Make sure everybody's on the same page to ensure this thing that doesn't happen. And I really hope this video has been helpful. And again, if this video has been helpful, do not forget to hit the like button below. Share it to friends and family or investors that you know so they can learn from this video as well. If you like this video or any of my videos, don't forget to hit the like button below. Subscribe to my YouTube channel for more of these amazing tutorials. Thank you so much for listening. I look forward to sharing the next video.